Hi, I'm Brad Cook. I'm a professor of wetland and plant ecology at Minnesota State University in Mankato. We're standing at the Lime Valley property, currently donated to the university as a research and education facility. What we have behind us here is a created wetland. Sophomore, I took an introductory soils course, and part of that course was the description of how soils change in a landscape. And I had a professor who taught us to dig a soil profile, dig a hole in the ground, and from that hole he could describe the history of that landscape for me. And I was fascinated. From a hole in the ground he could tell me the history of the landscape. I was fascinated and skeptical at the same time. So I was like, okay, wise guy, let's see you dig a hole over there, or on top of the hill, down the river bottom. Can you do it there too? And he could. Intrigued me, fascinated me. The whole idea of how the landscape changes and how the soils change was complex, but yet fascinating to me. And then about that time, federal laws came into existence in the protection of wetlands. And everyone that was working in wetlands at the time were either duck people or plant people. And they didn't know much about water or wetlands. And after all, it is water that makes a wetland wet. And there was nobody in soils that had a soil background. So I was hired right away with my soil background to work in wetlands. I got a job right away. Water is an important resource. And wetlands help provide that resource. So I went back to school, got my master's degree in hydrology. After all, it's water that makes a wetland wet. I wanted to understand how that water moves across the landscape and enters the wetlands. And from there I discovered how important water is. If you change the hydrology of a wetland, you're going to change the way the wetland works. From there, I thought, wow, if I want to really round out my education, I need a biology degree. I had a soils background, I had a hydrology degree. Wetlands at least temporarily store water. Soils go anaerobic and the associated chemistry involved. And then the third component is that all the organisms need to adapt to life in water or low oxygen conditions. So I did my PhD in plant ecology, in wetland plant ecology. So now I'm in a position where I have a broad background understanding how wetlands work.